Hi everyone, welcome back to the vlog. As you can see, I'm in Dad's garage in the UK. Last week we lifted out the big Mercedes OM636, 500 pound or so engine using the boom. We trolleyed it off the boat, over some water, into the car, and we managed to get it back here. We do though this week, we show how we got it back, and we did have a little bit of a run-in with customs, but we'll touch on that later, and we'll get to the rebuild of the engine a little bit later. But first we're going to go back to Barcelona where Nadiana gets kitted out for some big interior refit. Nadiana's trying to teach Yoshi not to pull.
He's learning a little bit, but it's difficult.
Yeah. So we're just going to the hardware store,
just the one in front of it.
DIY shop, where we bought those big timbers for the engine. We want to get some paint. We're going to do loads of painting just to freshen up the bathroom, and also just buy some bits and bobs and do some hardware shop window shopping. Nadiana's got loads of work planned while I'm away because I'm going back to fix the engine in England. So we are struggling a little bit. I think we need to get some advice. We'll probably do some posts and get our subscribers advice for paint for interior, because we kind of want a glossy finish that's not going to dirt up too much. And yeah, we'll be asking for advice from you guys, I think.
So this mask is only 15, whereas when we bought it last time on Amazon, which was 30 euro. And we're gonna get it because we're not gonna breathe in all the fiberglass and paint dust. Safety first. Last time I do think it was quite difficult with the fiberglass.
We found this like really authentic Chinese noodle shop. And it's absolutely huge, no one here, but around this area, kind of close to the marina, there's a lot of Chinese industry factories, and not factories but like wholesalers. Yeah, really interesting. It's really good for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. It's like proper authentic Chinese food. Oh, 谢谢.
Wow, this place.
Yeah, just one portion. No.
Yeah. You will have your portion like this as well.
It's huge, isn't it? Off to another DIY shop. Nadiana's in good company in the back seat.
Yeah, taking care of my engine baby.
Whoop. No. Oh, he's trying to go out. Yoshi, what are you trying to do?
Alright, this shop definitely got more good stuff. We got wood filler and got cheap paint, cheap but good paint. And their price is really good, cheaper than online, so it's good.
Well, let's go pay and release Yoshi from his
car prison.
Yeah.
Are you sad that Daddy is leaving? Are you sad that you're leaving your two dependents?
You are my two little dependents, aren't you?
Oh. I'm pretty sad.
I am sad.
Well, I'll have Yoshi. Yoshi will be my little knight. Oh, Yoshi.
So we're driving through the deserts, it seems, of Spain to get to the ferry which sets off from Santander. We're going to sail, if that's what you call it in big motor ferries. We're going to sail to the UK to, what do you say, rebuild?
Recondition the engine.
So it's going to be like a 28-hour ferry to Portsmouth in the UK. Over the next 2 weeks we should be able to pretty much get this engine pretty much finished. And what we don't finish, I'm just going to leave to Dad to finish, if that's alright.
It'll have to be, won't it?
Yeah. And then eventually Dad's gonna drive the engine back down, or we might look at palleting it down, and then Dad will come to help to fit the engine, because I think we need many hands on deck for that, John. What did you say?
He just said, what is this in the back of the car? And I just said, it's an engine.
Yeah.
We're taking it home to fix it. And
Yeah.
we're going to bring it back and fit it back into the boat when it's all repaired. We said, when you're coming back, you have to make a customs declaration.
Right.
Otherwise, you won't be able to leave the port
Really?
with it.
Wow.
So, or if you don't make a declaration, you have to do it when you're here.
Okay.
So, I'll have to just look into that when we get home.
Right. But if you make the declaration, that we've got an engine.
I presume so, yeah.
But it's not for sale. It's
Just our own engine that we took back. Yeah.
All right. So this is our boat cabin. Oh, look at that view. Oh, it's beautiful. The sea's so calm. We're actually quite surprised this thing moves at about 20 knots. It's crazy. So fast. And also it's quite bouncy as well. Surprisingly bouncy for the size of the boat. This is what about 40 knots of wind looks like in the English Channel. Nice to see from the comfort of a big old boat and not in our little catamaran. They're checking mostly vans, but they are looking in. So what does that mean? They didn't ask and they didn't check the car, which was good, because they were checking a lot of cars. I think we're okay anyway, because it says if you've got anything of the value of up to 390 euros, and this engine in the state that it's in is worth much less than 390 euros, because the engine that I lost on eBay, that was 250 euros, and that was complete pretty much. Anyway, back to the UK, and of course it's raining heavily and will continue to rain. So when people say about the UK being always rainy, they're not wrong. So welcome to Steve, my dad's workshop slash unit slash garage basically. Today we're gonna get the engine out of the car, get it in here, get everything cleaned up, and hopefully if we can get that far we're gonna take the pistons out of the engine block and yeah, weigh up everything. So I think the most difficult thing is going to be being very organised with the fuel pump. We need to make sure that's timed, or we mark it so that when we take it out we don't mess it up, and once it goes back in it'll go in the right place, because it can be really tricky to sort out. But check out this amazing place. Obviously you can see by the flags on that wall that my dad is a big fan of American cars. Can you guess what that is? Whoop. This, of course, is not an American car. This is the most beautiful car ever made. That is a classic Mini. And also here, just from the shape, do you know what that is? Do you think we can get the crane on it a little bit.
Yeah, see if I can get the jib in and just give it a bit of support, and we can pull it out and put it on the trolley hopefully then. So that's on there.
Obviously it'd be rude to start any work without a cup of tea. And that's pretty much all I'm good for. A cup of tea and filming. Look at that spoon. Nice clean spoon. It's good for your immune system, isn't it?
Yeah, adds a bit of flavour to your tea.
Adds a bit. So we're gonna get the engine onto this. Once it's on there, you can spin it around and work in it as you please. But to do that, we are gonna have to take these studs off here. So we'll do that. This is the sump down. I think usually it's just this kind of basin bit usually, but it's all connected. So all this casing here needs to come off to take the sump off as well. And we've got some pretty nasty looking bolts there, so I'm not quite sure how we'll deal with those just yet, but they should come off.
Yeah, just lock them two together and hopefully it'll come out.
There you go. Nice. You always worry with jobs like this because they can derail like a whole, like a few hours if they're locked.
Solid.
And yeah. So the whole of the engine's weight's going to be attached with 4 bolts.
Got some old cylinder head bolts.
I had to check they were not the ones from our engine.
Yeah. Some old cylinder head bolts.
There we go.
Should be able to spin it.
Yes, with a helping hand.
Yeah. I'll not spin it right because there's still some oil in it.
Yeah.
So, oh, sorry.
And all the coolant as well.
Yeah, all coolant.
From me in about 40 minutes. Thank you.
I think we'll just take that off.
Yeah.
And then we can have a look at the whole thing and then just replace it.
This pipe is in terrible condition, so that's another thing that we need to replace. What are we doing now?
Well, we've found the top dead centre mark, so it's a bit difficult, it's a bit faded, but it's actually there. The piston's at the top, so number 1 and 4 at the top. Only one of them will be firing, so we need to have a look at where the camshaft is to determine whether that one's firing or that one.
Right.
And then if that's not firing, it's that one, we turn it 180 degrees so that this one's firing, and we can check with the camshaft.
Right.
Have a look at the camshaft, see where the lobes are.
Okay.
And they'll be behind this cover here.
Yeah.
It's one way of telling.
I took this out when I when I did the top end rebuild, and I put a new gasket in, and the old gasket was really stuck and stuff. So hopefully it's reusable. What do you reckon? It's like a cork gasket.
If it's not over time, it should be all right.
It's probably
It's
over
not leaking now, is it?
No. Might stick a little bit like. Okay. Things like that little gasket are expensive when you buy them individually. So for the whole engine gasket kit, it cost me €160. But yeah, you can see inside there, what are they called?
Cam followers. So that one's on top dead centre, and the diesel's gone, it's fired, so it's going to force that piston down, and the two valve lifters will stay exactly where they are because
You don't want to release the compression, the combustion.
Yeah. So when that gets to the bottom of the stroke, which is there now, the exhaust valves start to open for it to come up and show the exhaust gases out. So carry on, and that's it there opening. So now on the next downward stroke, the inlet will open there, and that's letting the air and diesel in to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then both valves will close, and then it's back up again to compression and fire, and back down again then. Four. We're just marking the TDC mark because it's very quite faint. So then we know it's.
Oh, I
It's
want
alright,
that
doesn't
out.
matter. It's alright, it's just filled it, it's right. At least you can, as long as you can see it.
Yeah, it's probably better to be thinner, more accurate.
Yeah.
So I still have old gaskets. That was the head gasket that came off. This is the new one, which we probably should be treating with more care, but give that a wipe down. That should be alright. So once we've taken out all the pistons and all that stuff, we'll get this head. It's probably fine, but we'll get it skimmed, and I want to sort out the orientation of these injectors. Also, we're going to change the valve seals inside there, and change the valves. Also get the valve seats recut, so that's going to be all good. So it's quite difficult to see, but you can see two little dots and a line on the camshaft gear, is that right?
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do from
That's
there...
a fuel pump gear.
Yeah.
And that's a timing gear. So now we'll take the pump off, but we'll mark the housing first as well. Yeah, that's the pump. I think probably need to mark that to the body there.
So now the thing that's taking the most time is trying to undo that bolt.
Crankshaft pulley bolt. Gone. That's it.
So we need to get this whole case,
Housing off.
yeah, which is, it's all attached together.
We'll see if we can try it with the. I don't know what to say. Right, so there's a circlip in there.
So taking that little gear thingy-majig off has revealed these two bolts, which should then allow us to take the case off, and we're laughing.
That's the camshaft gear and the fuel pump timing gear.
Yeah. Now to like tip the coolant out, hopefully we'll see where it's going to come out. So that'd be the little oil pump with it.
That's the oil pump, yeah. And they're your 3 main bearings.
Okay.
And they're the big end bearings.
So what do we need to do at this point?
We need to take the big end bearings off,
Yeah.
caps off, and then take the main bearings out and we'll lift the crank out.
So something a little bit different about this engine is that you need to take all that off to take the pistons out. You basically need to take the pistons out from underneath.
Yeah, which is unusual.
Yeah.
So that's just driven off the camshaft with that little helical gear.
That's the camshaft. That
Yeah.
basically
At the bottom's a camshaft. Yeah.
That
That's
push-
the side there, yeah.
that pushes the little connecting rods,
Or the little, yeah,
or the little lifters connecting rods then, which basically controls the valves.
So I'm going to take the big end caps off now.
Alright, the little bearings are
So,
there.
yeah, the shells.
How do they look, do you think?
So, well, they're not through to the copper anyway, so that's good. Yeah, look pretty good. Yeah, the crank looks alright.
No scoring. Just as it was when it was first put in.
Yeah, look alright. So all we need to do now, I've just slacked these off, so we'll take the main caps off, main bearing caps, and have a look. Okay. That's the flywheel in. Yes, they look alright, not so bad, they look alright.
So the middle one's not so good.
No, it's down to find it down to the copper, so we'll have to.
Replace that.
Yeah. No, the crank looks alright. So. Well, you'll have to replace the set of main bearings.
Yeah, it makes sense because if that one's gone, then
Yeah.
the other ones are probably
Well,
gone.
yeah.
Cool. How about this end one?
I don't know yet. Let's see. Well, that one's alright. Yeah, so shall we just see if we can lift it out?
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
It's number 1 piston.
Nice.
There'll be a little bit of scoring there, isn't there?
Alright.
Just on the piston there, but I think it's.
Would that mean it's been rubbing against the...
Yeah,
The
possibly just a
bore.
little bit against the bore, but they look alright, not so bad.
Yeah, it looks tiny. Proper good little day's work. We got everything done that we wanted to, which is essentially to take the pistons out. So many pieces to go back together. It's just like a big old jigsaw, isn't it? Still so much work to do as well, but that is well and truly stripped. We have all of our bits here. Got the injection pump over there, hopefully that's all good. And yeah, I need to now order parts. One thing I need to buy is a honing tool, which is essentially what it's going to do is it's going to cross hatch the bores so that they retain the oil, and it helps with compression. So we've had a pretty good look at the bores and they're just shiny. There's not too much scoring, although this one I can feel a bit. So yeah, the bores are not in too bad a condition, we think.
A little bit there, but yeah, well, the work's been stood for a while and the pistons just sat there.
Almost looks a bit
Yeah,
rusted almost. It could just be gunk though, couldn't it?
yeah.
So yeah, those bores were actually not looking as good as what we initially thought. They had a bit of rust in there, a little bit of cross hatching, but we're going to take that block to the diesel specialist next week to see what he says. Hopefully it's a case where it can just be honed and it can be saved without going for a full rebore and changing the piston sizes. That would just be a nightmare. But if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and drop us a comment. Did you manage to guess which cars were under the tarps in this amazing little garage? Yeah, it helps us immensely if you like the videos, if you give us some advice as well. It's just the YouTube algorithms, all right? It will help us a lot. But thank you so much for that. And also to you guys as well who've been to our coffee and PayPal. Obviously we can't get a sponsor for every video, and we're pretty sure people wouldn't like that anyway. So you guys keeping the channel alive and well, thank you so much. Your names have been coming up here, over here. So yeah, and a few more things. A lot of people have been, suggesting that we throw the engine and we go for something like electric drive or outboards. But weighing up everything in terms of costs, which I think we'll get to next week, we'll find out exactly how much we've spent on this and how much we are going to spend. Obviously, taking the block to that diesel mechanic we're gonna hopefully find out soon how much all that work's gonna cost, and we will find out eventually if it is worth it. But for now, we can't see the price of this engine rebuild exceeding that of buying a rebuilt one, and nowhere near close to buying new outboards and setting that up with steering linkage and all that stuff, and also getting a new diesel engine. So we think rebuilding it right now is the way to go, but we need to hear back about that engine block and some stuff. But even if we did rebore and put new pistons in, it would still be much cheaper. And I'm so happy, as you can probably see from this video, that I learned a lot, and I'm sure you guys, if you didn't already know the stuff that was in today's video, you'll have also learned something. So yeah. Alright, I've waffled on way too much at the end of this video. We hope you managed to stick around. But yeah, thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, comment, and see you in next week's video.